My next stop is in the maritime province of New Brunswick. It is famous for the Bay of Fundy, which has the highest tides in the world. At Hopewell Rocks, I meet my guide, Anna-Marie Weir.
Well, Brandy, you are officially on the ocean floor right now, where we have the highest tides in the world. The formations that you see behind you are 330 million years old, and they're formed of sandstone and conglomerate rock. And Mother Nature has basically carved out these amazing formations that we're standing in front of. And right now we'll be at high tide in a couple of moments at 10:05, and we'll be back later on today at 4:44 to see the opposing tide when the water will be far out into the bay at that time. The essence of what we experience and how much we get to see along the Bay of Fundy in between those two tide times is simply amazing.
This sounds like it's right down to a science. How serious do people take the tides here?
Well, pretty serious. It's a matter of life and death, literally at times. The tides could come in quite quickly. The exact average in the Bay of Fundy is 6 hours and 13 minutes. But some days we have 5.5 hours between tide times, and on other days we have 6.5 hours. So without having that knowledge of the tides, if you're walking along a coastline, without that knowledge, it can be life-threatening, as in when the tides come up, it's going to tower above your head. So you have to be very mindful of the tide times when you're traveling anywhere in the Bay of Fundy.
So another thing you can do here is look at a tidal bore. Can you explain to me what that phenomenon is?
Absolutely, okay. So what happens with the tidal bore in Moncton and the Petitcodiac River is the river flows out to the ocean this way, and then twice daily we have the highest, strongest tides in the world pushing against the output of that river. And basically because the tides are coming in at a much faster pace, it creates an overlap of water that will extend from one bank to the other. And depending on the phases of the moon, it could be 2 to 3 inches in height to 2 to 3 feet in height, or a few centimeters in height to about a meter in height, depending on the moon phases. But the phenomenon is that once the tidal bore arrives in Moncton, you can watch that entire river basin fill up 25 feet or about 3 meters in height in 1 hour. You can sit and have lunch and watch the tides come in front of your very eyes within 1 hour.
There is so much to do in New Brunswick while waiting for the tides to change. During that time, Anna-Marie is taking me to some of her favorite places.
So lo and behold, in front of us here, Brandy, we have the oldest operational lighthouse on mainland New Brunswick. The name Cape Enrage was actually originally it was called Cape Enrage by the French settlers, which translated means Cape of Rage because of some rocks that are in front of the lighthouse that when the water's coming in and is about to cover up the head of the rock or expose it, the water will swirl around the head of the rock, making it look like it's boiling or raging.
And there's not a lighthouse keeper anymore, right?
There is not. However, the house that we have here was preserved, and there was a lighthouse keeper here at one time. And years ago, the way that light would have shone was from somebody shoveling coal, and the light mechanism being turned was generated by the steam from the coal. So, of course, that stopped a few years ago, so now it's a fully automated lighthouse, which means there's no necessity for a lighthouse keeper now.
Okay, let's go explore it.
Awesome. Okay, Brandy, so you are now stepping inside a fully functioning operational lighthouse, and not many people get to do that, I will tell you. So lo and behold, here we are. And just so you're aware, there's 4 things that every lighthouse needs. It needs a light, it needs a foghorn, it needs a radio, and it needs a backup generator to ensure that if the electricity goes out, that we are never without the capabilities of keeping that light and foghorn going for safety reasons, of course. So yeah, pretty cool. Wow. How many people get to see this?
Can't wait to get right to the top.
All right, super cool. Let's go.
Wow, it's so beautiful out here.
Isn't it amazing?
It is. It's so cool. I mean, it's huge, the ocean.
I know.
And you get a different perspective up here that you just can't see from the ground.
Okay, Brandy, so voila, here we are on the ocean floor 6.5 hours later. All the formations are exposed now. They look completely different than they did before. And we've got a whole bunch of really cool things going on amongst the seaweed, and there's some flora and fauna stuff going on there we might want to check out. What do you say?
Let's do it. This is beautiful.
All right,
just
cool.
Incredible. Total different atmosphere now.
Awesome. Rock on.
Cool.
Visiting Hopewell Rocks during low tide is such a fun experience. Walking on the ocean floor gives you a chance to see the rock formations and seaweed close up. It was well worth the wait for the tide to go out. The next day, Anna-Marie and I kayak on the Bay of Fundy and see some beautiful covered bridges. Then we travel to the new Fundy Trail Parkway, where you can drive around and see fantastic views. top off my visit to New Brunswick, we explored the incredible St. Martin's Sea Caves. The rocks of St. Martin's are about 250 million years old. The sea caves have been caused by erosion from years of waves pounding on the sandstone.
Okay, the buried treasure's right at the very end. All right, come on, get down there, Brandy. A little bit, squish her down.
There's nothing in here. Get
Oh,
out of
come
here.
on.
I'm totally pulling my leg. Wow, look at the color of this.
Okay, here we are at one of the sea caves that's been adorned by all this lovely green, vibrant seaweed, and it's actually called sea lettuce, and this is actually an edible type of seaweed, so that's about as natural as it gets right there.
Oh, goodness, that's good.
Eh? Not bad.